Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's devotional. As I request you every day, for all those friends who would like to offer a prayer or a writing or something from the faith, request you to please go to the participant option on your computer and press the raise hand option. In case you are on a mobile, please tap the screen and you will find the more option. In the more option, you will find an option of raise hand. Please raise that hand to let me know that you would like to offer a prayer. नमस्कार साथियों, अल्लाह ओबा। आज की इस प्रार्थना सभा में आप सभी का स्वागत है। वो सभी साथी जो आज की प्रार्थना सभा में प्रार्थना करना चाहते हो या बाहरी धर्म से जुड़ी कोई बात करना चाहते हो, उनसे निवेदन है कि अगर आप कंप्यूटर पे हैं तो पार्टिसिपेंट ऑप्शन में जाके रेज हैंड ऑप्शन का उपयोग करें, या अपने मोबाइल की स्क्रीन को एक बार टच करेंगे आप तो मोर ऑप्शन आएगा, उसमें रेज हैंड ऑप्शन का उपयोग करें। इससे हमें यह मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि आप प्रार्थना करना चाहते हैं। इसी के साथ हम आज की प्रार्थना सभा की शुरुआत करते हैं।
जय राजू थोटा जी, if you can unmute yourself.
Allah Bandi, Allah Band, my loving greetings to you all.
Allah Oba.
Allah Band. 1 second, please. Something happened. Okay, it is okay now. Create in me a pure heart, my God, and renew a tranquil conscience within me, O my hope. Through the spirit of power, confirm thou me in thy cause, O my best beloved, and by the light of thy glory reveal unto me thy path. O thou the goal of my desire, through the power of thy transcendent might lift me up unto the heaven of thy holiness. O source of my being, and by the bridges of thine eternity gladden me. O thou who art my God, let thine everlasting melodies breathe tranquility on me. O my companion, and let the riches of thine benevolence deliver me from all except thee. O my master, and let the tidings of the revelation of thine incorruptible essence bring me joy. O thou who art the most manifest of the manifest, and the most hidden of the hidden. Baha'u'llah.
Warde Ihsan, if you can unmute yourself.
And the sea, and the island, and the meadow, where mention of God hath been made, and His grace
Thank you, Vardhe. That was a beautiful sir. So Raghavin Bhaiya, if you can unmute yourself. राघवेंद्र भैया अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लीजिए.
भो अध्यात्मसुतः एष मे प्रतिमादेशः सोऽद्यं सदयं हृदयं वह ऐनते सत्यं सनातनम् अजरामरम् अनंतं च स्यात् तत्
Kamachi and PRF, if you can unmute yourself.
O thou whose face is turned towards me, as soon as thine eyes behold from afar my native city, Tehran, stand thou and say, I am come to thee out of the prison, O land of Tar, with tidings from God, the helping peril, the self-subsisting. I announce unto thee, O Mother of the world and fountain of light unto all its peoples, the tender mercies of thy Lord, and greet thee in the name of him who is the eternal truth, the knower of things unseen. I testify that within thee he who is the hidden name was revealed, and the unseen treasure uncovered. Through thee the secret of all things, be they of the past or of the future, have been unfolded. O land of Tar, he who is the Lord of names remembereth thee in his glorious station. Thou wert the dayspring of the course of God, the fountain of his revelation, the manifestation of his great name, a name that hath caused the hearts and souls of men to tremble. How vast the number of those men and women, those victims of tyranny, that have within thy walls laid down their lives in the path of God, and been buried beneath thy dust with such cruelty as to cause every honored servant of God to bemoan their plight. Baha'u'llah.
Ashwini ji, Sunita ji.
महामारी के लिए बाहुला द्वारा प्रकटित एक भारी प्रार्थना। उस उत्कृष्ट सर्वोच्च सर्वाधिक उद्धत के नाम पर तू महिमावंत है, हे मेरे ईश्वर और मेरे प्रभु और मेरा सहारा और मेरी आशा और मेरी शरण और मेरा प्रकाश। मैं तुझसे मांगता हूँ मेरे निर्गुण व बहुमूल्य नाम पर, जिसे तेरे स्वयं के अतिरिक्त अन्य कोई नहीं जानता, इस पार्टी के ग्रहणकर्ता की तू रक्षा कर। प्रत्येक आपदा व महामारी से, प्रत्येक दुष्ट पुरुष व महिला से, प्रत्येक दुराचारी के दुराचार से और अविश्वासियों की धूर्तता से इसके अतिरिक्त रक्षित रख उसे, है मेरे ईश्वर। प्रत्येक पीड़ा व दुख से, हे तू जो सभी वस्तुओं के साम्राज्य को अपने हाथ में धारण करता है, तू सत्य ही सभी वस्तुओं से अधिक शक्तिशाली है। तू जैसा चाहता है वैसा करता है और तेरी प्रसन्नता के अनुसार आदेशित करता है। हे तू सम्राटों के सम्राट, हे तू दयालु प्रभु, हे तू प्राचीन अनुकंपा, कृपा, उदारता, विधान के स्रोत, हे तू रोगों के आरोग्य आरोग्य दाता, हे तू जरूरतों को पूरा करने वाले, हे तू प्रकाश के प्रकाश, हे तू सभी प्रकाशों के उच्च प्रकाश, हे तू प्रत्येक अवतार के प्रकट करता, हे तू दयालु, तेरी सर्वाधिक महान दया व तेरी प्रचुर कृपा के द्वारा इस पार्टी के धारक पर कृपा कर। हे तू कृपालु, हे तू अनुकंपा प्रदाता, इसके अतिरिक्त तेरे संरक्षण के द्वारा उसके हृदय व मन को जो कुछ भी अरुचिकर लगता है उससे उसकी रक्षा कर। जिन्हें शक्ति प्रदान की गई उनमें तू सब शक्तिशाली है। तुझ पर ईश्वर की महिमा विराजे। हे तू बुद्धिमान है, ये प्रमाणित अन्य कोई नहीं है, सर्वशक्तिशाली ब्रह्म है।
Behrouz ji, you can unmute yourself.
O my God, I am a servant attracted to thee, humbly drawing near to the door of the oneness and supplicating the kingdom of the mercy. O my God, permit me to be entirely thine, occupied only with the thoughts of thee, inflamed by the fire of the love, and separated from all except thee, so that I may work in thy cause, spread thy wisdom, transmit thy knowledge, and impart the joy of knowing thee. O my God, I am a flame lighted by thy hands of thy power. Let not the flame be quenched by the winds of trials. Increase my love for thee, my ardor for the beauty of the oneness. Kindle the fire and burn in me in the Sinai of the singleness, and awaken the eternal life that is latent in me through thy bounty and grace. Thou art the protector, the watcher, the compassionate, and the merciful.
Dr. Shiv Kumar, if you can unmute yourself.
प्रभु, हम दयनीय हैं, हमें अपनी दया का दान दे। दीन दरिद्र हैं हम, अपनी निधियों के महासमुद्र से हमें एक अंश प्रदान कर। हम अभावग्रस्त हैं, हमारी आवश्यकता पूरी कर। हम पतित हैं, हमें अपनी महिमा प्रदान कर। नभचर और धरती के पशु प्रतिदिन अपना आहार तुझसे ही पाते हैं, और सभी प्राणी तेरी सार संभाल और तेरी स्नेहमयी कृपालुता का भाग पाते हैं। इस निर्बल को अपनी अलौकिक कृपा से वंचित मत कर, और इस असहाय आत्मा को अपनी सामर्थ्य के द्वारा अपनी अक्षय संपदाओं का दान दे। हमें हमारा नित्य प्रति का आहार प्रदान कर, और हमारे जीवन की आवश्यकताओं को अपनी रिद्धि सिद्धि का दान दे, जिससे हम तेरे सिवा अन्य किसी पर निर्भर न रहें, केवल तेरा ही स्मरण करें और पूर्णतया तेरे ही स्मरण में लिप्त रहें। तेरे पथ पर चलें और तेरे रहस्यों का उद्घोषण करें। तू ही सर्वशक्तिमान, प्रेम करने वाला और मानव जाति का पालनहार है। अब्दुल बहा।
Karunakaranji, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, our friends. This prayer is for the spiritual qualities. O my God, the God of bounty and mercy, thou art that King by whose commanding word the whole creation hath been called into being. And thou art that all bountiful one, the doings of whose servants have never hindered him from showing forth his grace, nor have they frustrated the revelations of his bounty. Suffer the servant, I beseech thee, to attain unto that which is the cause of his salvation in every world of thy worlds. Thou art verily the Almighty, the most powerful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Thank you, dear friends.
Mesuji, you can unmute yourself.
O thou Lord of wondrous grace, bestow upon us new blessings. Give to us the freshness of the spring. We are saplings which have been planted by the fingers of thy bounty and have been formed out of the water and clay of thy tender affection. We thirst for the living waters of thy favors and are dependent upon the outpourings of the clouds of thy generosity. Abandon not to itself this grove wherein our hopes aspire, nor withhold therefrom the showers of thy loving kindness. Grant that from the clouds of thy mercy may fall copious rain, so that the trees of our lives may bring forth fruit and we may attain the most cherished desire of our hearts. Abdul Baha.
Suraya ji, you can unmute yourself.
Allahu Akbar, friends. I'm reading some hidden words in Urdu. ऐ फर्जंदे रूह, हर परिंदा अपने घोंसले पर नजर रखता है और हर बुलबुल का दिली मकसूद हुस्न गुल है, मगर इंसानी दिलों के परिंदे फानी मिट्टी पर क़िनाअत करके हमेशा रहने वाले आशियाने से दूर रह गए हैं। जुदाई की खाक पर नजर जमा कर कुर्ब के फूलों से महरूम हो गए हैं। हैरत व हसरत और अंदूह व अफसोस कि एक प्याला पानी के लिए रफीक़े आला के बहर की मौजों को छोड़ बैठे और उफ़क़े अबहा से दूर हो गए। ऐ दोस्त, अपने दिल के बाग में मोहब्बत के फूलों के सिवा और कुछ न बो और हुब्ब व शौक़ की बुलबुल का दामन न छोड़। नेक लोगों की सोहबत को गनीमत जान और शरीरों की रफ़ाक़त से हाथ और दिल दोनों उठा ले। ऐ इंसाफ के बेटे, कौन सा आशिक है जो वतन माशूक से कहीं अलग रह सकता है, और कौन सा तालिब अपने मतलूब के बगैर राहत पा सकता है। आशिक़े सादिक के लिए जिंदगी तो विसाल में है और फराक में मौत है। आशिकों के सीने सब्र से खाली और उनके दिल सुकून और करार से पाक होते हैं। वो लाखों जाने फिदा कर देते हैं और कुएं जानान की तरफ दौड़ते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Suraya ji. If there are any other friends who have not raised their hand but would like to offer a prayer at this point of time, we request you to please raise your hands. अगर कोई साथी रह गया है, प्रार्थना करना चाहते हो, तो वो अपना हाथ अभी रेज कर दें। इसके बाद हम लोग जो हमारा डीपनिंग सेशन है, उसकी तरफ बढ़ेंगे। जी, शिवचरण जी, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर लें।
अल्लाह सर,
अल्लाह
तू ही है मालिक अस्मा, तू ही माबूद आलम, तू ही रफत कबानी, तू ही मकसूद आलम। तेरे कब्जे में हर एक दुनिया है कुदरत की, जमीन और आसमां पर धूप है तेरे हुकूमत की। इनायत चाहता हूँ तुझसे तेरे अस्म आजम की, कमर टूटी है जिसके जोर से असनान आलम की, कि तेरे जिक्र में रहे रफ्ता मेरी, तू ही तेरे जिक्र में नातिक रहे हरदम जवा मेरी, रहे खिलकत में याद मसरूर जा मेरी। मदद फरमा कि तेरे अमर का खादिम रहूं या रब, तेरी तबलीग दुनिया में करूं या रब। तू ही जो चाहता है कर दिखाता है, तेरे फजल से ईमान पाता है। तू ही यकता वसल्लम तेरी वहदत है, तेरे कब्जे में सारी कायनात में इल्म हिकमत है।
Any other friends who would like to raise their hand at this point of time? अगर और कोई साथी हो जो प्रार्थना करना चाहता हो, वो हैंड रेज कर सकते हैं। Yes, Dr. Narula, you can unmute yourself.
This is from the tablets of the book called Baha'u'llah's Teachings on Spiritual Reality. Statements from Abdul Baha. Man is in the highest degree of materiality and at the beginning of spirituality. That is to say, he is the end of imperfection and the beginning of perfection. He is at the last degree of darkness and at the beginning of light. If the divine power in man, which is his essential perfection, overcomes the satanic power, which is absolute imperfection, he becomes the most excellent amongst the creatures. But if the satanic power overcomes the divine power, he becomes the lowest of the creatures. That is why he is the end of imperfection and the beginning of perfection. Not in any other of the species in the world of existence is there such a difference, contrast, contraindication, and opposition as in the species of man. Thus, knowledge is a quality of man, and so is ignorance. Truthfulness is a quality of man, and so is falsehood. Trustworthiness and treachery, justice and injustice are qualities of man, and so forth. Briefly, all the perfections and virtues and all the vices are the qualities of man. When man allows the Spirit through his soul to enlighten his understanding, then does he contain all creation. But on the other hand, when man does not open his mind and heart to the blessings of the Spirit, but turns his soul towards the material side, towards the bodily part of his nature, then is he fallen from his high place and becomes inferior to the inhabitants of the lower animal kingdom.
Thank you so much, Dr. Narula. And friends, now it's the time for a deepening session on the secret of the divine civilization. The session will be undertaken by Ms. Shakufe Bijenderi. Request you all, in case you have any questions or you have any thoughts to share, please raise your hand or drop your comments in the chat box. I'm sure Shekufe can see them from there. So over to you, Shekufe. I made you the co-host, so you can
Thank you.
share your screen and mute and unmute as you want.
Thank you, Mr. Gary. Thank you, Auntie Tuba, for giving me this opportunity to serve everyone. I have a very small request, and please, I've asked for reinforcements today. My daughter is here, and Vanessa. Vanessa is actually, she's responsible for the Baha'i Center here in Dubai, and she's about an hour away from the house. I had to come here because the connection in my house is not very good, and I hope my voice is clear to everyone, so there isn't going to be any problems in listening to what the discussion is. The request I have from everyone is please close your videos and please mute yourself, because it is distracting to me and I won't be able to focus. So please, I'm begging everyone to please close their videos and mute yourself, and let us delve into the deepening session together. I'll share my screen now. Okay. All right. What you can see over here is The Secret of Divine Civilization. Is a tablet revealed by, let me close my video as well, because even my video is interrupting and is actually distracting me again. I don't know how to do it.
I'll do it for you.
Yes, please, Gary. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this book by Abdul Baha is written in 1875, The Secret of Divine Civilization. The introduction, actually, I read today on Zoom that says that this book was written actually for Persia. It is actually a view of one of the readers who has prepared the preface of the book. But my personal opinion during the deepening of this book and my personal investigation, when I segmented the book into parts and read it thoroughly and, you know, investigated, I did my own personal investigation, I realized it is actually Abdul Baha revealed on what a divine civilization should be. It is exactly the definition of the book. So maybe some examples were given about Persia and the West, but the purpose of that is only an example. So to start this tablet, I want everybody to remember that Abdul Baha's station that we all did a deepening in is nothing less, according to the tablet of the Husn, which is the tablet of the branch. Baha'u'llah describes him as his mouthpiece. So while deepening into this tablets, I hope everybody gives due reverence to each passage. And the style of Abdul Baha's writing is that he gives under each passage an example to explain the concept that he has just revealed. So let's see what these secrets are. And it is very, very, very relevant and important for this time that we are in now, because we are seeing changes in the world with humanity and civilization. A lot of demand for rights, a lot of demand for everything. So people are getting to realize more and more that the laws that are currently man-made is not enough. So let us see the first part of this tablet, which I have called it the endowment of intellect and wisdom. So let's see what Abdul Baha says about the endowment of intellect and wisdom. In the name of God, the clement, the merciful, Praise and thanksgiving be unto Providence, that out of all the realities in existence, he has chosen the reality of man and has honored it with intellect and wisdom, the two most luminous lights in either world. I will stop after each sentence, after each full stop. And the two most striking words that we see over here in this particular sentence is honored us with intellect and wisdom, the two most luminous lights in either world. Now, in either world is a secret that Abdul Baha has revealed in this very first sentence. Now, if we look at the world around us, intellect and wisdom that was gifted to us by God, it not only lights up the world of material that we are in now, it also is a light, a luminous light in the other world. You see, Abdul Baha, in a lot of his tablets and writings, like I said, he gives an example of what we might perceive into the concepts that he's revealing. And this particular secret is very astonishing to anybody who reads it. If it's a luminous light in this world, we understand why, the metaphor has been given to us, but it's also a luminous light in the other world. We have not seen heaven or the nearness to God, or we have not seen what that other world looks like. But Abdul Baha and Baha'u'llah and Shoghi Effendi, like we have learnt in Ruhi, book 1, where it is talking about the life of the spirit, they have given us hints. This is the first secret that Abdul Baha has revealed. It is a light also in the other world. Through the agency of this great endowment, he has in every epoch cast on the mirror of creation new and wonderful configurations. So we know it's an endowment to have intellect and wisdom. It's a light in both worlds. And now Abdul Baha explains another secret. He says, and note the capital over here, he is capital, the H is capital. He has in every epoch cast on the mirror of creation, not only man, the mirror of creation, like a light, new and wonderful configurations. Now, when I first read this, I did not understand it very well, but I was trying to perceive the image that Abdul Baha is trying to draw for us in our mind. So, if we consider creation as a mirror, he has lighted upon us intellect and wisdom. And what is the result of that? New and wonderful configurations. I wanted proof. And every epoch means that with the revelation of every manifestation from God, a new and refreshing, wonderful configuration has come upon creation. Let us examine the next slide. I will come back to this slide. Let us examine the next slide a little carefully. If you see over here, this is the literacy rate that we have from 1475 to 2015. I was not able to obtain data which is older than this. Probably there is, but I have not found one. So from 1475, the literacy is almost stagnant, okay? One striking feature, if you see, from approximately 1844, which is the time of the revelation of the Bab. I'm referring to this linear over here because it is the world linear. Let us forget a little bit about the others because it's talking about the boom in the scientific department of the world, which we have all seen. But notice the boom in the world's literacy the refreshing new agency released approximately from 1844. There wasn't any linear over here from 1475 onwards, or it was almost flat, you can say. It was not worthy of mentioning. But from here you see the line, and from 1852 onwards, again there is a rise, which is the revelation of Baha'u'llah and Siyah-Chal, the secret revelation of Baha'u'llah and Siyah-Chal in 1852. Again, there is a rise from the already rising linear that we have. And 1863 onwards from Ridwan, it was almost, you can say, a skyrocket increase in literacy. And I want to mention something over here. The birth of the word scientist came in the 19th century. It wasn't even a vocabulary before that. It was not even recognized. So this linear of the world, we can see how this has refreshed into human beings. Let us go back and examine that word. Through the agency of this great endowment of intellect and wisdom, he has in every epoch cast on the mirror of creation new and wonderful configurations. The reason why this was particularly interesting to me is because this era, this epoch of Baha'u'llah and the Bab's revelation witnessed the twin manifestations that have given this astronomical rise in literacy amongst human beings. And the birth of the word scientist came in the 19th century. Now, this we have seen not only for human beings, we have seen also in plants, we have seen in animals, we have seen almost evolution in the plants and animals that did not exist before this. I don't want to dwell too much into a discussion into those scientific details. I thought that this should be the most striking that we have seen till far, in the evidence of the twin manifestations over here and the birth of the science in this era or in this epoch. If we look objectively upon the world of being, it will become apparent that from age to age, the temple of existence has continually been embellished with fresh grace and distinguished with an ever-varying splendor. And it is a fact. The evolution of creation, not only human beings, in every epoch has seen a magnitude of increase, and specifically from the 19th century onwards, the new species of plants and animals that have been discovered around the world, it is skyrocket again, deriving from wisdom and the power of thought. So wisdom over here, he's defined it, deriving from wisdom, and the power of thought is the definition of intellect. So what we want to know over here is, and this paragraph has become a little more understandable of what Abdul Baha was trying to tell us, to look for these evidences in reality. And this every epoch is very important to realize that with the strength of the manifestations and their revelation, a new grace from age to age, the temple of existence has continually been embellished with a fresh grace and distinguished with an ever-varying splendor. It is a fact. And because this epoch has seen the twin manifestation, the increase was skyrocket between it. Moving on to the next passage, which is also a very important one. Again, Abdul Baha is revealing one by one these secrets, what they are. So we have now understood what epoch is. The light in the other world, we don't know. We get hints from Abdul Baha what the other world is. One of the hints is that it is a light. It's a luminous light. So this supreme emblem of God, stands first in order of creation and first in rank, taking precedence over all created things. Now this sentence, first in order, I wanted proof that this is the first thing that is created in human beings on creation. So I found this article in a journal, in a medical journal. This is one of the first things to develop. It includes the formation of your baby's brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Heart and S-shaped tube forms in the front of the embryo. Heart is afterwards. So the first things to develop in a baby is the brain and the spinal cord. This is the baby, and that's the spinal cord. See, it is ending till here. I wanted proof. So it is really the intellect and wisdom is first in order of creation and first in rank. That means it is so important. It is first in rank and the first order of creation, taking precedence over all created things. So we know now it is so important to form this, the intellect and wisdom in an embryo and a child, that it is first in order and in rank. Now, here Abdul Baha clarifies, witness to this is the holy tradition. Now, what is the holy tradition? We have the Holy Bible, which is collected later on by the apostles and said that these are the verses of the Holy Bible. But also the holy tradition is actually the deposit of those doctrines and advices that Jesus Christ has given to the apostles only. So he has only given these instructions to the apostles or advices to the apostles. It is called the holy tradition. It is not something that you can transfer. So Abdul Baha, again, in a lot of writings, as you will see in his own tablet, he clarifies some previous writings from other prophets. In this instance, he's clarifying a tradition or the holy tradition. One of the phrases of the holy tradition by Jesus Christ was, before all else, God created the mind. This is a proof. Even Jesus Christ, without knowing ultrasound, without knowing that what this, it is a tradition which is a holy one, and it is given by a manifestation from God. So he's actually proving one of the verses over here, that even now with advances of the science, we have come to realize that yes, the first thing that forms is the baby's brain and the spinal cord, because it is first in rank. Jesus Christ has also said that, and Abdul Baha reconfirms it over here in this passage. From the dawn of creation, it was made to be revealed in the temple of man. So from the dawn of creation, which is the first human being who was a prophet on earth, Adam, the first thing that God created in him was his brain. So these are now probably 3 secrets, if we want to count it, that Abdul Baha has already revealed to us. The gift of intellect and wisdom, the luminous light in both worlds, and the renewal of the grace of God, the fresh grace and distinguished splendor with every epoch. He's refreshing the creation with this. And through the wisdom and power of thought, we are able to flourish. Let's go to the next one. The 3rd paragraph. Okay. Sanctified is the Lord, who, with the dazzling rays of this strange heavenly power, has made our world of darkness the envy of the worlds of light. I want to go and say this again, read it again. Sanctified is the Lord, who with the dazzling rays of this strange heavenly power has made our world of darkness the envy of the worlds of light. And this is a verse from the Quran. And the earth shall shine with the light of her Lord. For me, this word told me, like an alarm clock in my head, it is again another secret that Abdul Baha is revealing to us. Again, it is referring to the spiritual world. So I asked myself, why should this world be envied by the worlds of light, which is closer to God? The only thing that could strike me, that is and always will be, the reason is Abdul Baha's reference to eternal life in some answered questions. Abdul Baha's reference to eternal life in some answered questions was talking about the progress of the soul in the other world. Adib Taherzadeh tried to explain this concept of eternal life in a very beautiful way. I would like to quote what he has said. If we consider that we are embryos, we are acquiring hands and legs and limbs and senses and eyes in the womb of a mother. We don't know what is the use of the eyes and ears and hands and legs, but we are growing in the womb of the mother. The womb, if we consider it to be the earth, and the birth, the action of birth is into the other world, then we realize why we were necessitated to grow eyes and ears and senses and hands and legs. So we are not born paralyzed. The same concept applies over here. The progress of the soul has to start in this life so that we can acquire. Abdul Baha says, acquiring the senses is the metaphor of acquiring those spiritual qualities of our soul. So the spiritual qualities that I acquire in this earth is going to be our hands and legs and eyes in the other world. How can a spiritual quality, like for example, kindness, and not saying lies, be hands and legs in the other world? It is. And God has given us this strange and heavenly power to be able to have and enhance our capability of comprehension and action in this world. So it is, of course, the envy of the worlds of light, because they have already surpassed that stage where they can acquire the hands and legs and eyes and the senses. They can now develop in their own world with whatever they have gained spiritually over here. And then the grace of God is endless, but we don't know what the grace of God is going to do. But our chance to grow the hands and legs and those spiritual qualities is in this world. And God has given us the gift of wisdom and intellect to derive it. And from this verse of Quran, and the earth shall shine with the light of her Lord, it is indeed, like it says, the splendor of God that he bestows upon creation every epoch shines like a mirror. We are like the mirror and he's the light. So of course, it is going to be shining with the light of the Lord. And exalted is he who has caused the nature of man to be the day spring of this boundless grace. Boundless grace. It has no bounds. Up till and until there will be, every epoch, every age, there is going to be a revelation from God through a new manifestation. It is going to be a boundless grace. The God of mercy had taught the Quran, had created man, had taught him articulate speech. Now, this particular verse of the Quran, to talk about what this boundless grace is, I have to take you back to understand something very important over here, which is about Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad was born in Mecca to a tribe called Quraysh. And as a child, while he was still in the womb of his mother, he lost his father. His father's name was Abdullah. He died. So he didn't have a father. And a few months after he was born, his mother died. So he was an orphan. And that time in Mecca, where he was raised, it was a small community around an oasis. And his uncle, whose name is Abu Talib, raised him. And he had a woman, her name was Halima, who used to breastfeed him for him to get nourishment, because he was born an orphan. Not exactly at the beginning, but soon after he was born, he was few months old, his mother Amina died. Now, why am I saying this is very important? Because I'm drawing a picture now in everybody's mind. Quraysh, or the tribe of Quraysh, were idol worshippers. And at that time, the tents that were put on like this, around the oasis, they had a lot of elders who used to teach the children to read and write poetry and talk about, Arabic, to teach them Arabic in specific. Prophet Muhammad, because he didn't like the elders in that town, and they were all idol worshippers, since he was a boy, he used to just take something, like a wood or a stone, and start smashing all the idols over there. So he never sat into a tent to sit and learn Arabic. He was illiterate. He didn't know how to even speak Arabic properly. He was just different from all the other children and the youth as he started to grow, because he hated their traditions, he hated their practices, and he was very, very compassionate while growing up under the care of his uncle Abu Talib, because he himself was an orphan. He didn't have a mother and he didn't have a father. And eventually, when he was 25 years old, he married a woman called Khadija, who was a 40-year-old widow. Now, the revelation of Muhammad from Gabriel, who is the communication between himself and God, an angel called Gabriel, came to Muhammad when he was one night in his tent and he was 40 years old. And he started to see something descend to the front of his head, and it was said his name is Gabriel, and started to command him to read. And the first verse of the Quran was, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Gabriel repeated it 2 times. And then Muhammad started to get so frightened, he started to tremble, and he went into Khadija's arms. And he said, I saw something like a ghost telling me to read. And then she looked at his face, and there was a shining, like radiance from his face, and he looked very different. So she started to bow in front of him. He's saying, you are a prophet. You have changed. There is something coming out of you. I can't explain it. Please listen to what that Gabriel is telling you. So Muhammad started to speak and learn the Quran from Gabriel so eloquently that night, and he started to memorize the Quran from Gabriel. that when he started to repeat it the next morning to the tribe, to Quraysh, people called him Sahir Majnoon, means you're a magician and you're crazy. How did you learn such beautiful Arabic? Because he would refuse to sit with the elders and learn. So this passage of the Quran, the God of mercy had taught the Quran, had created man, had taught him articulate speech, specifically referring to Prophet Muhammad, that an illiterate man who has been created by God, God taught him the Quran and eloquent, articulate speech. It was so beautiful that Quraysh got shocked and called him Sahir Majnoon, means you're a magician and you're crazy. How are you speaking such beautiful Arabic? So this small excerpt was because of that, of this particular passage, that it is actually by the grace, by the boundless grace of God that he bestowed on Prophet Muhammad the luminous light of intellect and wisdom. And he has referred to it articulate speech. It was beautiful. Now, this passage is the last passage of this particular part where we are talking about the endowment of intellect and wisdom. O ye that have minds to know, raise up your suppliant hands. I want to remind everybody about this passage. Abdul Baha ends or concludes the passage of intellect and the passage of wisdom, the two luminous lights. He has ended it with a command. See, O ye that have minds to know, raise. He did not say please. He said raise. Raise up your suppliant hands. So our hands must be suppliant to the heavens of one God, and humble yourself. The second condition is humble yourself and be lowly before him and thank him for this supreme endowment and implore him to succor us until in this present age, this age of Baha'u'llah and the Bab, the twin manifestations, God-like impulses may radiate from the conscience of mankind. I stress the conscience of mankind. We did not say God-like impulses from the behavior. He said from the conscience of mankind, and this divinely kindled fire which has been entrusted to the human heart may never die away. Now, it is the condition that Abdul Baha has put over here. He's asking us to do this every day. We have to raise our suppliant hands during our prayer, humble ourselves, make ourselves lowly before God, thank him. Thank you for giving us this supreme endowment, and beg him, implore him to succor us until in this present age, godlike impulses may radiate from the conscience of mankind. They did not say from the conscience of Baha'is. That means we have to pray for all of mankind that these godlike impulses may radiate from the conscience of mankind. We have prayers revealed by Baha'u'llah for humanity. We have prayers by Baha'u'llah revealed for continents around the world. We have to say these prayers because we have to implore God to radiate from the conscience. Conscience is again a part of the mind, it is part of the intellect, and it requires wisdom to be able to impulse such radiate such really true, honest with ourselves, godlike impulses. We have to radiate this to humankind. Nobody will know what is in your conscience or somebody else's conscience. Only you will know. We have to pray for people's conscience to purify. And this divinely kindled fire, see, divinely kindled fire, which has been entrusted to the human heart, may never die away. Look how important it is to understand another secret over here that Abdul Baha has revealed from the hidden words of Baha'u'llah. O son of being, my heart, thy heart is my home. Sanctify it for my descent. See, it is entrusted to the human heart. And who is in the human heart? Thy heart is my home. Sanctify it for my descent. Thy spirit is my place of revelation. Cleanse it for my manifestation. That means the grace, the bounty of God that is going to reflect and shine on the mirror of creation has to have a sanctified home and cleansed soul. The cleansed soul, that is godlike impulses, may radiate from the conscience of mankind. This particular sentence is nothing other than Abdul Baha revealing this part of the hidden words of Baha'u'llah. Thy heart is my home, sanctify it. Until we sanctify, we are not going to reflect or radiate that light. So friends, this comes to the last or the end of part 1. I'm sorry if I exceeded half an hour, but I'm keeping the slides on. If somebody wants to ask any questions, please do so. I'll be happy to answer if it is related to these passages. Gary, I'm sorry, I don't know how to come out of this. So.
Okay, so
if you want me to put the presentation, I will if there is a question regarding a passage,
yeah.
But my part is done.
Yeah, so friends, I've allowed all of you to unmute. In case you have any questions, you have any suggestions, please go ahead. Yes, Jay Raju Thotaji, yes.
Yes, I would like to know about the Adam, the first manifestation of God, which is mentioned in the Bible. Actually, Bible is a figurative meanings, each and everything. For example, Red Sea, floods, whatever it may be. What is meant by Adam? I want to know. Adam means the first man, they may say. But before Adam, there are
I don't
many
understand the
generations.
question. I don't understand the question.
Before Adam, this is Adamic age. For example, 6,000 years, Adamic age. Adam to Abdul
It's called the Adamic cycle. It's not the
Adamic
age.
cycle, you can say. Adamic cycle. Adamic cycle, 6,000 years. Before 6,000 years, there are so many generations are there.
No.
So many generations.
No.
Before Adam.
No. Adam is the first human being. It is there in Genesis. If you see Genesis 1 to about 45 or 46 in the Bible, in the Holy Bible, it talks about the Big Bang Theory. It is talking about the beginning of mankind. And the beginning of mankind started with Adam, and Adam is a prophet. So we are the children of Adam, and Eve was created from one of his ribs. He was directed by God to create Eve. So this is factual, and Abdul Baha has confirmed it. The first human being on earth is Adam.
But according to science, but there are so many generations before
There is
Adam.
no generation before Adam, and we don't have proof that there was existence before Adam, because all the remains that we have prior to Adam were dinosaurs.
One thing, madam. Then Baha'u'llah says
Yes.
there are so many manifestations
After
earlier,
Adam.
that but the history is not available. If there is no, that means there is a proof. If there is no evidence of the previous manifestations of God, we have to say, we have to believe it. There are so many manifestations. For example, this is Adamic cycle. Adamic cycle. In Adamic cycle, for example, the Baha'i cycle. In Baha'i cycle, 500,000 years. In 500,000 years, approximately 500 manifestations may appear. But Baha'u'llah says, before this Baha'i cycle, there are many cycles earlier. Because science proved it that there are many human beings, skeletons are available in many parts of the world. So that there are many people are there before 6,000 years. Before 6,000 years.
Mr. Jaya Raju,
Yes.
the proof of such a thing or such a claim by you, I prefer going by the Bible and what Abdul Baha has confirmed. Adam is the first human being, and after that, if there was cycles, there isn't any more cycle. The first cycle is Adamic cycle. There is no more cycle. And Baha'u'llah is the second cycle for humanity. So if you're claiming that you have such a reading that says that there was humankind before Adam, please share it with us. Is there anybody else with another question?
Yeah, Mr. Raghavin Bhaiya.
गैरी
जी
मुझे बहुत अच्छी चर्चा है और मुझे लगता है कि चूंकि अंग्रेजी में इसलिए पूरी तरह से मुझे समझ में नहीं आती है, बस मैं प्रयास कर रहा हूँ कि कैसे इसको पूरी तरह समझूं।
जी भैया।
मुझे लगता है अगर दोनों भाषा में कुछ मिक्स करके होता तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहता।
I have recorded it, so if somebody can translate afterwards in Hindi, then it is okay. I just want, I will send it to Mr. Inder Mohan Narula, the recording, and I will share the PowerPoint presentation. So if somebody can get the correct Indian text from the translation of The Secret of Divine Civilization, it will be very good, because I don't, my Hindi is very bad. I'm sorry for that. Please forgive me.
राघवन भैया कोशिश करेंगे इसको हिंदी में पहुंचाने की आप तक।
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत सौभाग्य।
जी।
Hello, Madam Shagufa. I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Since this madam came on this earth, from where this Adam came? Can you please explain it to us?
Okay. The theory of human creation.
Yeah.
If we consider the Big Bang theory, which is scientifically proven that there was a vacuum in space, and all the particles that were around this vacuum started to go inside the vacuum. And then there was like a ball of fire that was formed. The ball of fire that was formed was too hot for anything to exist. For this many millions of years, this ball of fire, you see fire, when you have a normal fire, it starts to release some gases. So it took a few million years for these gases to form around this ball of fire. And once the gases started to get, with gravity, they can't go further. The gases cannot leave the space. It has to come around this ball of fire. The gases formed. And then when the gases formed, it started to, again, after a few million years, it started to make a condensed gas. And then when gas started to condense, it started to rain. And the rain wasn't water. It was liquidated gas. It started to form. Then when this gas and condensed gas fell on this ball of fire, it started to cool the crust. And once it cooled the crust was starting to cool off, That's when God endowed in the core of earth the gel of created things. Then we had plants germinate, and then we started to have animals, and then those initial stages of plant and animal, whatever it was, and then the first human being, which was Adam. And Adam was a prophet. And the first thing Adam felt, as soon as he got created, he felt he was naked. He felt ashamed of standing like that. So he went and he covered himself. And God instructed him, you have to create Eve. You have to make children. And those children, now in Arabic, we are called Bani Adam. Bani Adam means the children of Adam. Humanity was created from Adam and Eve.
Dr. Narula.
Yes.
That's okay. That's all right. I've just sent a message to Shekufe.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah. Jay Rajuji, you had another question?
Yes. For example, Lord, do we Baha'is believe the Big Bang theory? I have already asked this question several times. So there are many theories that according to Big Bang theory, the universe started with a one rupee coin size. But from one rupee coin size, it expanding, everlasting expanding. That is the Big Bang theory's, the theory of the Big Bang. That is expanding. The entire universe is expanding. So according to our Baha'i faith, there is no beginning, there is no ending. The beginning hath no beginning, the end doesn't know its end. According to the Bible also,
the universe has no beginning and has no end. That is correct. The universe has no why? Because God, if we consider him a king, if we consider God a king needs his disciples. And the disciples of God is not only on earth. So many planets are there. The universe is endless. And our telescopes are not even enough to capture all of it. Because it has no end. And Baha'u'llah says so, that the universe has no beginning and no end. Because God has no beginning and no end. Universe. But the earth did have a beginning. And it is there in some answered questions.
That is
Thank you so much, Shekufe ji. It's getting pretty late here in India. It's about 10:20 in the night. So we may resume the discussion tomorrow. Any questions that you may have from today can be taken over to tomorrow.
Thank you.
Now, thank you, Jayaraju ji. Thank you so much, Raghavan ji. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohan. So friends, as I request you every day, we can use the next 2-3 minutes to socialize. You can please unmute yourself and your cameras on and socialize with each other. Thank you so much, Shekufe.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shekufe. This was so beautiful. Really. So well excellent.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie.
Alava.
Alava, everybody.
Alava, everyone.
Alava,
everybody. There is a videos are not opened. Stop.
Alava, everybody.
Alava, ma'am.
Alava. Thank you, Shekufe. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Alava, Soraya Khanum, Parveen, Alava.
Alava, Narula.
There is a video is not open.
Alava, Raghavendra.
Alava, Inder Mohan, how are you?
Alava,
Okay, thank you.
Alava,
Alava, ma'am.
Allah, I am each and everyone.
Alava, Radhaji.
Allah, Behruz.
Alava, Madam Suraya.
Indeed, it has been very good.
Congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.
Varde, you chanted very nicely.
Varde is here.
Thank you, Shekufe. Mashallah.
Thank you so much. Very nice discussion. Nice evening. Allah.
Gana Gandharva.
Thank you, Gary. It was very nice. And you also have the recording, so anytime you want to go back on it, you can.
I'm going to send the voice recording to Mr. Indomon and Auntie Kuba. Maybe then it can be shared. If
Don't send it to me because I don't know how to do it. I can send it to Gary has it actually, but it's the PowerPoint. I'll send
Thank
it to
you.
Gary.
See you all soon. The Bai
Thank
Center
you.
has activities. I have to leave now because I've been
Good luck.
occupying it past 2.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good start.
It was beautiful.
Thank you, Tawakana.
Good night, everyone. Allah
Allah Abha. Thank you,
Bye,
Nazneen
bye,
ji.
everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Allah Abha.
Allah, Dr. Shiv Kumar.
Allah,
Thank you
ma'am.
very
Allah,
much.
ma'am.
Oh, Allah
Thank you,
Abha,
everyone.
Shivji.
Very nice.
Allah Abha,
Allah,
Zoya
Allah,
Khanum. Allah Abha.
Allah.
Allah Abha. Allah Abha ji.
Allah,
आप 2
Baba
लोग
ji.
रह गए हैं बस.
Good one. Good start.
क्या good
Yeah.
start? क्या good
I was
start
just,
किया?
no, I was just looking through a compilation that I have on extraterrestrial based on the
अरे,
writing of Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha and Shoghi Effendi, compiled by a very good friend of mine, Dwayne Troxel, who I used to serve on the NSA in Hawaii together with. I've known him. And I think it's very interesting because some of these concepts that are there, we need to examine them in more detail. This is, it will take a little bit of time.
This discussion is going
That's
to
why I said
go.
it's a good start. And but obviously there are elements that we need to expand and clarify and rephrase some of the assumptions.
Uncle, you and Papa continue. I need to answer the nature's call.
Oh, okay. But come back because I think you need to be involved in some of the points that we are going to discuss in terms of how we can proceed forward.
Sure.
The keep yeah. And I'll come back and then we will talk a little. In the meantime, I shall benefit from the wisdom of your dad.
Hi.
बोलिए शिव साहब, फरमाइए.
यार